If you're in your first trimester right now and someone told you to just eat crackers and survive, I need you to hear this. What you eat in these early weeks may actually matter more than you think. I'm Chris, I'm a national board certified health coach. I help women break the yo-yo dieting cycle by eating more delicious and nourishing foods and training smarter, not harder. I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant and I'm sharing what actually worked for me during my first trimester because trust me, it humbled me a lot. So a little bit of background, before I got pregnant, I was feeling great. 4 strength training sessions a week, I light jog maybe once a week, eating my normal nutrient-dense meals and my daily walks. I had my routine dialed in. Everything was normal. Then week 6 hit. And for real, the fatigue was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I'm not talking about feeling a little bit tired. I'm talking about walking from the kitchen to my living room and feeling like I literally had run a marathon. I could fall asleep doing anything. I did not drive at all, just to be clear. I had to take a nap every single day just to function a little bit better. And even after a nap, I would still feel exhausted. And then the nausea. Everything that used to smell good made me gag. The thought of cooking, forget it. This lasted about week 6 to the end of week 13. I want to acknowledge something here. I work from home and I do have a very flexible schedule and my husband is incredibly supportive. I'm grateful to be in this privileged position. But that said, even with all that, the first trimester knocked me down hard. So if you're going through these while working a 9 to 5, commuting, taking care of other kids and your family, I genuinely commend you. You are a superwoman. I work with women inside my 12-week coaching program who are juggling all of that. The job, the kids, life, and they still find a way to put themselves on their own to-do list. Honestly, that's so valuable. They inspire me every day because when a woman decides she's worth investing in, that she deserves to feel strong and nourished and not just survive every day, everything shifts. She shows up better for herself, for her family, and for everyone around her. That's what real transformation looks like. And helping women make that their reality, not just feeling better, but becoming the strongest, most radiant version of themselves, that's my passion. And that's why I do this. Now, this might sound a little bit controversial, and I've said it in another video. A lot of OBs will tell you just eat whatever you can. Crackers, bread, pasta, whatever you can stomach. Just survive in these rough weeks. And I get the intention behind that. You need calories, you need energy, and they don't want you to stress. But here's what I think isn't being said enough. What you eat in the first trimester still matters. There's actual research to support this. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women with higher diet quality, specifically in the first trimester, had babies with significantly better birth weight and lower risk of fetal growth restriction. We're talking about measurable differences based on early nutrition. And then there's a Dutch famine study, one of the most powerful studies in prenatal nutrition. Researchers followed babies who were conceived during the severe famine during World War II. And what they found was remarkable. Babies who were exposed to poor nutrition, specifically during the first trimester, had the worst lifelong health outcomes. We're talking higher rates of heart disease, obesity, depression, even cognitive decline decades later. And here's the key. This was linked to epigenetic changes, meaning the nutritional environment in those earliest weeks literally altered how their genes were expressed for the rest of their lives. Another study published in PNAS confirmed that these epigenetic differences were still detectable 6 decades later and were specific to preconceptional exposure, that very early window. Now, I want to be fair. The placenta isn't fully formed in the first trimester, and some researchers argue that the embryo is getting most of what it needs from nutrient stores you built before pregnancy. And that's a valid point. And I'm not a doctor, but that's also exactly why some women cannot afford to just eat whatever. Because here's the thing, only about 12% of American adults are considered metabolically healthy. Roughly 88% of us have at least one metabolic risk factor that's not optimal. So when someone says just eat crackers for a few weeks, it won't matter. That might work if you're in that 12%, but most women are not. And if your blood sugar regulation, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic health is not already in a great shape, weeks of refined carbs and sugar is not going to get you or your baby up for success. That doesn't mean perfection. It means doing the best you can with what you've got. So I want to share what I actually did, starting with movement. I could not do my regular workouts. My 4-a-week 30-minute strength training sessions turned into maybe 3 gentle 15-minute sessions for that first trimester. My body felt different. The relaxing hormone was already loosening all my ligaments and I was really exhausted. And honestly, I was just listening to my body each day. I still moved, but I dialed back, way back. I added a lot of yoga and stretching and light movement. That became my new morning routine. Instead of jumping straight into strength training, I would wake up slowly and do gentle yoga and ease into my day and then see how my body felt. And if I could perform a strength training session, then I would. My desk treadmill for work, I did not use it. I was sitting on my ball while I worked. I was way too tired. But here's the thing, I never skipped my morning walk, even if it was later in the day. Every single day, even if it was shorter, 30 minutes to an hour instead of my usual 1 hour and a half, I went for a walk every day. And that made a huge difference. Even on days when I came home and needed a nap right after. The walk made the entire rest of my day more manageable. My mood was better, my energy was better, my nausea was even more manageable. Research backs this up. A comprehensive review published in the Journal of Physical Activity and Health found that walking during pregnancy provides significant health benefits to both mother and baby, from reducing the risk of gestational diabetes and preeclampsia to improving mood and reducing fatigue. And walking is uniquely resistant to the barriers that stop pregnant women from exercising. It's free, it's gentle, and you can do it anywhere. One thing I told my husband, in 5 years living living in this neighborhood here in the north of Dallas, I've maybe seen one pregnant woman out walking. One. I see moms with strollers sometimes, but never a pregnant woman. And that breaks my heart. If there's one thing I could tell every pregnant woman is walk. Even 10 minutes outside in the sun. Your body and your baby will thank you endlessly. And by the way, I'm going to be sharing a full video on everything I'm doing to avoid the symptoms that everyone says are just part of pregnancy, like constipation, leg cramps, terrible sleep, headaches, aches and pains. These are common, but that doesn't mean they are inevitable. A lot of these are your body telling you that something is missing or something needs to change. And I'll break everything I am doing to support these very soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that one. Now for food, this was a whole journey. Greasy, oily foods, absolutely not. I could not stomach them. But here's what I could do. Cold foods, fresh things, and high protein options that weren't heavy. My survival foods were chicken breasts, literally the only protein I could stomach for weeks. Not greasy, easy to digest. I would make it with guacamole and a little bit of hot sauce, maybe some salt chips. I love siete chips, which are a healthier option than your regular crackers or fried chips, and combined with the healthy fats from the avocado and protein from the chicken breast, that slows down the glucose absorption. And that was my version of a balanced, nourishing meal when nothing else sounded good. Making sure I had my protein and my healthy fats. And then yogurt, my absolute best friend every single day, full of protein, probiotics, easy on the stomach. I couldn't do cottage cheese for the whole first trimester, but yogurt was in my fridge always. And smoothies, half an avocado, a few berries, half a banana, yogurt, almond milk, protein powder, simple, nutrient dense, cold and fresh, and helped with the nausea tremendously. Some apples, something about the crunch and the freshness just settled my stomach. I have never liked apples much, and we never have apples in the house, but they were here in our fridge from week 6 to week 13 of my pregnancy. And my homemade chilaquiles. I would make chicken breast with salsa, yogurt instead of cream, some Oaxaca cheese. This was my nourishing version of a comfort Mexican food I was craving because it is in my blood. And here's a strategy I want you to take away. When I did eat something higher in carbs, like chips or apples or popsicles, yes, popsicles, I craved them. The cold, the fruit, they were amazing for the nausea. I found healthier ones, but still sugar is sugar. So what I would do with these higher sugary foods is time them before or during my walk. And here's why this matters, and especially during pregnancy. When you eat something that spikes your blood sugar that much, that glucose floods your bloodstream. Bodies were never designed to handle these kind of sugar loads that modern processed foods create. When glucose stays elevated in your blood for too long, then it triggers excess insulin and it creates this inflammation. And over time, it damages your metabolic health. When this is constant, like with the standard American diet, and now when you're pregnant, it's not just your blood sugar. That glucose is crossing over to your baby. Your baby's developing pancreas has to respond to those sugar spikes as well. So you're not just managing your energy, you're shaping your baby's metabolic environment. Research published in the scientific reports found that even a 10-minute walk immediately after eating significantly lowered blood sugar and peak glucose compared to just sitting. Your muscles contract and they pull that glucose out of your blood, so no extra insulin is needed. So I use that strategy intentionally. Popsicles and apple on my walk, a higher carby meal, I would walk right after. Now, was every moment perfect? No, of course not. If you've ever had a levain cookie in New York, if you know, you know. My husband surprised me with some one day and I had 2. They were amazing in the moment, but honestly, they were also way too sweet. I realized they weren't as good as I remembered. That's the thing, when you've been nourishing your body consistently, your palate changes. You actually feel how overly sweet things are and your body tells you. And I didn't beat myself up about it. I enjoyed my 2 cookies. I had my treat. I was craving them for a while and then I moved on because that's not my normal. It was one moment. My normal is making my own cookies, my Ninja creamy protein ice cream, my own versions of the things I love in a healthier way. And that is how this becomes your life, not a phase, and you're not depriving yourself. You're enjoying the food that actually makes you feel good. That's nourishment over restriction. And that's how you live this way forever, not just for 12 weeks. And honestly, I know every woman's first trimester is so different. So I am curious about yours. Drop a comment below and tell me what week you're in and the one food getting you through it right now. I would love to know. A few more things that made a difference. Hydration. Hydration was hard. Even plain water was making me nauseous. Even ginger tea was making me nauseous. So I survived on water with a lot of lemon and ice. And here's the thing, hydration isn't just about water. You need minerals for your body to actually absorb and use that water. Magnesium alone is involved in over 300 processes in your body, including baby's bone development. And most women are already deficient before the pregnancy. And sodium and potassium matter a lot too. And yes, sodium gets a bad reputation, but that's because most people are getting it from ultra-processed foods, loaded with refined carbs and seed oils, and extra loads of sodium. That combo is the problem, but not sodium itself. When you eat a whole food diet and you're cooking real food, you actually need more sodium. It regulates your fluid balance, nerve function, blood pressure. It is truly essential. For electrolytes, I started with LMNT, but it was way too intense for my first trimester to stomach, so I tried Flap City, which helped a lot, and then the Absorption Company, which was a little better. But recently, I'm obsessed with ProMix electrolytes. They're clean ingredients, great mineral ratios. They're absolutely my favorite right now. They're the best with the cleanest ingredients, the best flavor, top. Highly recommend. They're not sponsoring this video, but they truly are the best electrolytes we've discovered so far. So a pack of electrolytes a day plus a lot of lemon water got me through. Hydration with the right minerals is crucial, not just for us, but for our babies too. And ginger tea helped me early on, but then I really got sick of it. of it, so that was very short-lived. And popsicles, they helped a lot with the nausea in the middle of the day, but instead of just eating them on the couch, I would have them during my walk, like I mentioned before. So my muscles could actually put that sugar to work. If you're not sure where your health stands, whether you're pregnant, planning to be, or just want to feel better in your body, I have a free health score assessment that takes less than 3 minutes, and it gives you a clear picture on maybe what's not working and simple doable steps on what to do next. The link is in the description for you. And here's what I want you to take away. The first trimester is brutal, and you don't have to be perfect, but you also don't have to just throw your hands up and survive on junk food that does not serve you or your baby. There are nourishing options that can work with your nausea, not against it. Be intentional, be kind to yourself, give yourself some grace as well, and do the best that you can, because knowledge is power, but only when it's put into action. I walk my talk, so I hope you join me on this journey. And this is exactly what I help women do, in building the strongest, most radiant version of themselves to live a full life, the one you deserve. If you want to learn more about working with me, I linked everything in the description for you. And if you want to see exactly what I eat during my pregnancy and the foods that keep me energized with zero constipation, I have 2 videos for you, so I'm gonna link them over here. And if this helped you, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm sharing my entire pregnancy journey and everything I'm doing as a health coach, not to just live a healthy pregnancy, but actually enjoy it. Because so many symptoms women accept as normal, they don't have to be. I'm so glad you're here. I'll see you in my next video.
You're still on board, dancing in the